Welcome to the next in our series, talking to beautiful, wonderful, gorgeous women about ejaculation choice, ejaculation control, orgasm without ejaculation. And today we have a very dear friend and the beautiful, wonderful, gorgeous Valentina Leo with us, also known as Mrs. Love. Valentina, so wonderful to have you here.
Thank you. I'm broadcasting directly from my bed today.
I just love that. That is so beautiful. And thank you for being so in the flow and so yourself. I think it's a beautiful setting.
I realized the best conversation happen on the pillows, the pillow talks are the most intimate and honest and relaxed. And I thought, why should I pull myself together and pack myself up to have an intellectual conversation with you when we are actually talking about lovemaking and the activity that pertain to generally the bedroom. So I think maybe if I stay in the bedroom, I'll speak more wisely.
It's lovely, and that's our conversations in any event, It's just like in the body and in the flow that you and I have, and it's always so wonderful. So yeah, it's lovely. Let's jump right in. Valentina, let's just jump in with, what are your thoughts about this topic? What are your thoughts about men practicing ejaculation control? I like the word ejaculation choice. It's so wonderful to get a woman's perspective also in this. As a woman, you're doing, you're one of the, Valentina is one of the well-known, wise woman of Africa with a beautiful Italian accent, but a wise woman of Africa doing a lot of beautiful work in spirituality, consciousness, tantra, but also as a woman. But let me stop talking. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So for me, first, I really like when you change your wording from ejaculate control to ejaculate choices. And maybe we can even call it ejaculate options.
Yeah.
Because men are really, they rely on control a lot. And to control also they ejaculate feels like another thing they have to do. Yeah. And I feel in my experience with men, the aspects that liberates them more from this dependence is when they meet deep relaxation in the act of lovemaking, so that they stop performing and they stop needing to arrive somewhere or present themselves in a certain way or be on top of it. And so also sex, it's something they have to control and do. And I think it gets really beautiful when we stop doing and we just are in the act of lovemaking, and we allow the body to have their own wisdom and to move in the way they want to move. And when we don't, in my experience, what started shifting in my last 10 years, perhaps I'm 50 now. So I don't remember, I'm not aware to have met men that could have option on the ejaculate before then. I've never met many young men that were well versed with that, or had an interest in that, or even a curiosity. And so what started to happen that when there isn't this official ending, of the man ejaculating and everything deflates and we drop into this stillness. When that piece is not there, what happened is that the lovemaking start to become endless, meaning that I start to recognize that lovemaking is the primary movement that we have as lovers and as human beings on the planet. I mean, it's a new way to look at reality, Lovemaking is the first movement, the most important, the priority for our fulfillment, our well-being, our heart connection with each other, with the world, with nature, with creative thinking. I mean, we can go on and on and on. The biology of the well-being of sex, it's we can find that out. And then in the breaks, when I don't make love, okay, let me quickly go to work so I can make some money and we can buy some food that we can eat in the poses of lovemaking, or we can eat good food so we are stronger and more healthy to then be more present in lovemaking. And then let me build a house so that we can have a roof and over our head when we make love. Let me have a beautiful bed. So we have a bed for making love. And so start looking at how our reality, it's all set up just for this moment of lovemaking. It's the ultimate, for me, in my experience, the ultimate prayer, the ultimate meditation, when we really go talk to source and resource. When we make love, we resource, we go back to where we come from. And we bring back forth some wisdom every time when we really can relax and let go of doing sex, but being in this space of pure love moving through our body. And so to acknowledge that there is a movement greater than mine that moves me, move my genital, move my body. When the mind is involved, there is this goal that we want to achieve for men and for women. I mean, I can say the same thing, that now there is this big trend that also women must ejaculate and squirt across the room and be multi-orgasmic and have it all. Those also are elements that create pressure, and I think when the heart are meeting, the body can just follow. And so when we relax in meeting goals that are practically on the doing, ejaculation also is an action, and we fall back into ourselves. I mean, when a man ejaculates, that's also what I like to call it, I can feel that he's resourcing from within himself as well. And then on the other side, I am the receiver of a richer expression of himself. When I see that instead of moving outside of himself, he refuel his energy back into himself. And then, of course, when he's fulfilled, there is more for the giving. And I happen to be there in the moment or after. I receive so much more depth and presence from this man. So yeah, I think the main part is this idea that then sex never ends. We're so being trained that with ejaculate, the movement of love making comes to an end, and we stop because that's when the energy really drop, and sometimes we fall asleep, and it's okay. Also, I don't think this. One time, sometimes I was with this guy that had quite a how do you say, pre-coach. He was ejaculating quickly. And also he would apologize to me. And I was like, don't worry, beloved. It means you just can't resist me. It's quite flattering, actually, that you enter me and you come within few minutes. It's like, it's okay, I get it. I am irresistible. But, from there, that could be a great beginning, because then all the expectation, all the anxiety, it's gone. And now we can really begin making love, and making love as a process of being with each other that takes time. And sometimes there is penetration and sometimes there isn't. And it's still love making and it's still profound. And so ejaculation, again, is an option. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's beautiful to have it. Sometimes it's not necessary. Sometimes it's more appropriate in different direction. But surely a man that knows how to engage with that, it's a man that is interested in the yoga of being himself. And that's clearly is a man I am interested into as well, because he's a yogi, because clearly he's making a choice to know himself in his expression in life. And so it means it's someone that is willing to be in the fire of the deepest meditation of life. And generally, these are the men I feel more attracted to be with. There is more substance, there is more spiritual content. Even in the failing of it, it doesn't mean it's gonna get easy from the beginning, but the willingness to practice and to make choices like this, it's a form of yoga, you know. For me, is the ultimate, is the yoga of sex, is which is the yoga of life eventually. So, and as you know, and that brings changes in all aspect of your life, you know, not just in how you show up in bed. We say that how you show up in bed is how you show up in your life. And so, you know, if you can maintain and sustain stated of heightened sensation for a longer time and relax into that, that surely is a great skill to have in your life. You know, if you know, when you ejaculate quickly, I mean, I made the joke, I was really flattered, of course, I am irresistible. So what this poor guy could do, you know, but, you know, when we look into it, also this was a man that wasn't really engaging with life, that was so intimidated by the overwhelm and the richness that life also brought to him. And to ejaculate quickly was his way to not to have to deal with it. Not to have to deal with my intensity also to the depth, but also its life intensity. And I think man that, yeah, you want to say something? I'm going on.
No, I just love your, just about the heightened sensation, you know, of life. As you say, you know, not to ejaculate in you, stay in that heightened sensation, and then whether it's penetration or not penetration in you, then with the person, and whether you are with a person in bed or whether you're just walking down the river, you're still in that heightened sensation of love. So there's such a beautiful, I just love that, you know, and that actually life is actually all about lovemaking and you know, the house and the bed, and you know, it's going to earn money to do that, so we have it there, but so that we can make love to each other and to life, you know, to life, to everything, you know.
When we go running to practice cardiovascular, we go and do yoga to practice balance and suppleness. We do breath work, so we practice to sustain a heightened state of expanded consciousness in the peak of pleasure, in the peak of anger, in the peak of fear, in all peaks, but also sometimes deep love making is very scary because we die when we go really deep inside each other. And so I notice how all the practices of our life is the groundwork to be lovers, to show up in the groundwork of love making. And so we eat good food so that when you make love, you can be supple, you can sustain difficult position, you can support your lover, you can keep breathing through all the emotional release. Sometimes it's joy, sometimes it's tears, sometimes it's agony, the ex-agony when we go deep in love making. All of this should appear, you know, in the dojo of your bedroom, not just the happy, loving, happy banging. I don't know how to call it anywhere. That's not real, you know. That's also the performance of lovemaking, you know. And so when you don't ejaculate, you bring all of that in everything else you do, even when you take your children to the park, you know, and you're still heightened by that space in your being. And that's what your children can thrive on, play with, you know, when they are exposed to us as adults that are rich of the lovemaking in our life. You know, we are more available. We also become channel to source instead of becoming channel to the stressful nature of my job. That then we remember my job is stressful, but I undertake the stress because I want the money. So with the money, maybe I want to have a big car to take my lover in, and we can go to a great hotel where I've got a king size bed that overlooks the ocean, and we make love.
I love that. God, you know, there's someone else saying these things that I so fucking feel and believe, you know, that's why I so feel it, you know, just to find another human being resonate the same kind of exact expression is so nice. Yeah, oh, wonderful.
Ultimately, it's all we do, isn't it? We get a big car to pick up girls. We need to take them to the big restaurant and impress them. Girls,
Yeah,
and for girls to pick up guy, the same. The women spend hours in front of the mirror to be beautiful. Why? Because they want to seduce. They want to be looked at. They want to be courted,
courted, yeah.
courtship.
Yeah.
Yes, is it that word?
Courted,
You want to feel important. We want to feel that we've been noticed, and someone wants to enter us. That
mm,
there is this man that is curious about my internal nature. I mean, these are the real calling of sexuality. We want to be inside each other because we want to drink and eat from each other essence. Our each other's heart. This is the true calling, but we don't speak about it, and then we live in this illusion of the performance of the sexual
uh,
encounter, when in reality
uh,
we all want intimacy. We all want to be seen in the depth inside of ourselves. And you
sure.
know that also when a man doesn't ejaculate, I feel he becomes more vulnerable to his own feeling, to its own um, vulnerability,
Sure.
you know. And that means now I'm penetrating him. Now I'm also, and it's giving me an opportunity to also enter him. It's not
Mm,
about that he penetrates me. Yeah, that's what it looks like. But in the invisible, in the real movement of life, in the energetic, then we come to a point where we don't know anymore who's inside each other,
mm,
because when he enters himself, when he ejaculates, so he has to go back inwards, he can take me with him.
oh, that's so amazing. Yeah, you drop so deep in your heart. It helps you dropping into your heart, and then the person you're with can feel that. Your heart and your lingam gets connected. Um,
Completely. And now it's opening a portal. I can enter him direct. I can feel the energy of his body quivering. And he stopped doing. There is that moment, and when you practice in there, you have to concentrate on your own breath, especially at the beginning, to be with yourself, to be aware of what's happening in your body. And so the performance to impress the other cannot be there in that moment. And
mm,
as a woman, I feel this. And I feel he stopped doing and he dropped in the pure being. And I want that. That's very attractive, and he becomes feminine. He has the quality of the feminine that surrender backwards, and that's what I'm usually familiar with. And now he can offer that back to me. And
sure, Valentina, I get like
yeah,
goosebumps on that. Yeah, and if they, if you drop into that feminine, I so often say to guys, especially men that have never come across that, if you drop into your feminine, you actually feel that you can actually sense and feel the woman you're with so much better. So if you connect it with your own feminine and you end up playing with her, you can actually feel her energy so much, and it's like becomes this beautiful dance because you're also connected to your own. You can energetically feel when it's the right time to enter her, when it's not, and the whole interplay of lovemaking is and I find ejaculation interesting.
expanded, and so we also can overcome this role play that is so boring. We've done that. And so when a man becomes vulnerable, also he allow, because the moment he enters his feminine space, it allows for me to be in my masculine, because we need the polarity. And so then I can start to feel my emptiness. I can start to feel the way I can hold space for him to feel himself. It's wonderful. It's a beautiful space to be also for a woman, that now I'm going to be still and I'm going to be this empty space. And he can really feel the subtlety of the energy rippling back into his body, and the sensitivity on the skin everywhere, on the tip of his finger, on his chest, on his toes, not just on his lingam, that suddenly is everywhere. So I really like to stroke his body, and to also help him to expand his ability to feel. And in that, it offers something to me. It grows my masculine essence also, my ability to be really present with what's happening and not just get lost in my own chaos, which is, I mean, is delightful too, but it expands my presence and
It's amazing.
my awareness.
It's amazing. Yeah, I've had the same. Yeah, and I've had, some of the guys also, they've been practicing it. There's quite a range of guys that, they work with short periods and people that have gone for long. And some have shared with me the experience that, that they actually bond with their partners much, much, much more if they don't ejaculate, and it became this really deep bonding, So it's such beautiful things for people to do. Sure, that have been in long relationships, isn't it? I don't know. I think that bonding
I think
becomes so,
they bond because they go back inside themselves
yeah,
and they take their partner with. And so
yes,
now they have the experience of having their beloved inside their heart. And for men that wants to avoid intimacy, it's very easy to just ejaculate and never let anybody in. The movement is outward. There is the movement of sex, where as a man I enter another. I go places, but I don't let them come inside this place,
yep,
and so a lot of these guys, they just like to fuck around. Actually, you can see they're really scared of deep intimacy. They don't want to let anybody inside themselves,
yep,
and when they do, the bonding really happen, because now it's really vulnerable and this beautiful being is being inside your heart with you. Now it's special. There is something really special about this other person. And it's not something I consume anymore. Sex is not something we consume. Not some, yeah, it's a thing. I always, I found, this is the business of our life. We consume everything. We consume movies, social media, food, is the consumerism. And so sex became also something we need to consume, to suck it out, to take what we want from it and walk away, and in many young people having a lot of different sexual relationship, there is this idea that we go in there and we take what we need, what we want, we use it, we consume it. But when we go into the depth with it, we culture it. It's very different. And so by the guy not expressing its seed outward, the seed reseeds themselves inward. That semen goes back inside themselves and they seed themselves in their heart. It's a culture,
I love
Hmm?
that.
They're cultivating themselves.
Yeah,
And
that's how
so the
beautiful.
partner and their partner become the gardener that water the seed with them, because
Yeah,
they really,
that's so beautifully articulated. The seed out, and you can have the choice. Sometimes the seed out, and sometimes the seed in, and you cultivate yourself. So beautifully
yeah,
articulated. But
yeah.
what are your your experience been like in terms of men and women that even know about this? I find, often when I talk to people about it, they're like, "What the fuck? What are you talking about?" And it's almost I've almost a sense of like 99% of men and 99% of women don't know about this. So yeah, just to get your thoughts on that, whether it's not as bad as that, and then secondly, it's just been. I share with you that it's so that is the one hand what I experienced. But the other hand,
Let me answer that first. It's like,
go for it.
yeah, I mean, I think 99% of people don't know this. Like 99% of people have 2 weeks holiday a year and they are happy with that and they accept that. And, sometimes I really realize we are a very small fringe of explorer love cadets that really have a fascination for consciousness. And sexuality, of course, is the biggest tool we have to understand consciousness. And so we are a very small percentage, and that's just that. I don't have a problem with that also. I think that although we are a small percentage, there's still so much of us anyway, because the world it's full of humans. So there is enough people to play with and to engage with. And I feel that the people that, for me, in the way I work now with people, they need to really be ready to wanting to do this. I'm not trying to convince anybody anymore. I'm not a Tantra evangelist. I've stopped that. I really feel there was a lot of, I used a lot of my own energy to convince people and to try to invite them into this realm. And I noticed the one I try to convince are the one that deliver more poorly because they want to make me happy or do it because I suggest it, or they don't really have a deep calling. And so I notice now it's I don't make that effort anymore. I really sit back more and more. I ejaculate a lot. Also with my teaching, I teach more and more what really drives me and inspire me and make me thrive in my life and in my teaching, so that I don't become bored of what I teach, trying to convince people that don't have a fire to give me. And so yeah, we are a really small minority, but it's as it is. And I'm also, you know, I've let go of having the funny conversation over dinner with people that think it's impossible, or they, you know, like recently I sat with someone I know very dearly, a member of my family, that still send me a link on Google that says that the G spot doesn't really exist, hasn't been proven that it exists. He needed to send me this to have an argument with me. And I'm like, whatever. If you want to believe it doesn't exist, it's your call. I feel sorry for your wife. I don't need you to prove it to me, because I know exactly that exists and what it does and how it moves in my being. And it creates such an expanded experience in my life. I need to know it. I don't even care if Google doesn't honor it or recognize it. Whatever, you know. If you need Google to confirm, you know,
It's not on
so
Google.
then you go there, because it means he's not curious enough about loving his wife to wanting to take the journey. So those are hard work. Those students are the one that always will challenge you with the mind and with the but, and you know, I think also the journey with having ejaculate choices is ultimately a spiritual journey. It's a spiritual journey to, because I think the man that goes there, they want to know who they are. They want to understand themselves.
Yeah,
Tell me,
no,
what do you know about it? You hang out with more men than I do that have this. Isn't it a spiritual journey, more of it? What men want out of it?
yes, the people that come to this thing, it is so much wider than just ejaculation. It's actually a deep inner journey that the guys want to know themselves. You know, they come
Yeah,
for and for, you know, let's learn this thing. I can be a better lover, and for whatever. There's so many different reasons, probably 100 different reasons, but people would come. There are 100 different benefits, or 200. I don't know how many benefits of doing this. So people come for different reasons, and then they come and they go, "Whoa, this is so much wider than I thought." And then it becomes this deep inner journey and you know, beautiful exploration of that. So yeah, no, I totally same. Yeah, this, you know, the people. I think for what I find is just to put it out there. It's so great for me. And then the people that are ready, I also don't want to persuade people. It's still hard work, you know, to persuade people that
hard
orgasm.
work. And rather
Yeah,
use the energy for the one that really want to know, you know? Sorry, I just I'm still there. Yeah, keep your energy for the one that really wants to know, instead of try to convince the one that needs
it's like
convincing.
it's like the G spot example. You know, to teach someone an orgasm and ejaculation are two different things, and they even haven't heard about ejaculation. So it's just too hard, you know. So it's not a. So more opening it up, and then the people
But
will.
also they will come, you know. It's like you're putting it out there, you're putting you make them think. And maybe there are some men that will, they're so terrified and might think about it for 3, 4, 5 years, and then maybe only then they will come to your circle. And that's okay. And you
Yeah.
need to take that time for them even to separate this concept of orgasm and ejaculate that are two different things.
Sure, sure. And they'll come when they're ready. Yeah, I must share with you that in this last one we did, well, the first one I did, we had close to 70 men all around the world that actually were on the challenge. And on the Zoom calls, you will see the open-hearted, vulnerable sharing of the brothers. You know, it's just amazing. It's really nice to see men coming together in this space, Abby.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's important. I think it's that time. It's your time now. I think as women, we started the work already 20 years ago. You know, all this feminine awakening. And now it's your time. It's the time for men to become feminine. You know, the biggest work I've always done with women to allow them to meet the deepest places of their own sexuality is to teach women how to make love from the feminine. Because all of us women also were educated to engage in sexual activity with a masculine mind that is aimed to an orgasm, that we need to come and plenty, and we need, like a really masculine orientation around sex. No one gets too vulnerable, It's also a way to hide ourselves actually in all the very sexualized movements as women, the seduction and the control and the manipulation. And so for women to really drop also into the tantric mystery, the biggest job has always been to relinquish the control of the internal masculine that want them to be in a certain way, that want them to be liked, they want them to feel powerful through their sexuality. Women manipulate and seduce subconsciously a lot more than they realize. There is a, and in this, for many women want their guys to ejaculate. If the guys
Yeah.
doesn't ejaculate, they can be quite unhappy and angry at them and upset about it. I've heard of this,
Oh, for
and men
sure.
are doing the
No,
work,
definitely,
and the
definitely
women.
for sure. It's almost a desirability thing. You know, I often say to the guys, talk to your partner what you're doing so that they can understand. Otherwise, there's also conditioning with women that they don't feel desirable if you don't ejaculate. You know, so you also have to educate them in the process. You know.
Yes, yes, and that's also their masculine. That they there is this measuring, like everything is linear. We learn it how it's supposed to be. If this sequence of event don't happen in this linear way, it means I'm not good enough. Which what it really means that I'm losing control. I have no control to what's happening here, which is the good part about orgasm. To have orgasm, you need to lose control. You need to be prepared to die and to go into the chaos. And that's what I've been teaching the women a lot, to not be afraid to be completely out of control. And
Oh, yep.
and I, and I feel for the men. Now is this moment for the men too, to let go of also that control, because we are afraid of what's behind that. In control, there is an expectation. It's masculine because it's linear. I do this action, I'm gonna get that response. Then it means I'm in control of my life, I'm in control of this situation. Then it means I'm safe. And when we are not in control, when the cows take over, when we shit scared because we love him so deeply and our body are taking over and we don't know what's happened, it can be very scary for many people. And we reject that. And we don't want to go in heightened state of pleasure um, because we never been there. No one educated us. And then it feels really terrifying. And so for the man to learn that it's okay also to be scared.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's so beautiful, V. It's like, yeah, for yeah, big part of my journey was when I could surrender, you know, when I realized that I could just be surrender and be taken and be penetrated by those women that I'm worth, you know, like energetic penetration. And I like also get into that vulnerable space. And then it really enriched my life so much in that space. You know, like that's really come up with me recently is that I just realized I have so many women coming to me and saying, "Oh, I want to be ravished." You know, I wish my partner could ravish me. Still. So there is maybe to give context of that. That I often find that would love your inputs in it. That um, you know, that men get into the space of dropping into this beautiful vulnerability space, and get into the feminine space. But it's a beautiful dance both ways. And then at a point with an open heart, it is great to ravish a woman, you know, and it's great, beautiful to ravish her, for her to be also to open and to allow and to be totally ravished, you know, to be fucked with an open heart, you know, that type of thing. And I think sometimes I find that, and maybe this is more in a conscious tantric space where maybe men gets very much into their feminine and then can't ravish a woman, or don't feel that comfortable to ravish a woman anymore. And I just feel that there's sometimes that there is.
I don't think they're into their feminine. I think they're really afraid to express their desire, you know, and that's again control. And maybe there was an experience that they received when they expressed themselves that was not well received. And so they're scared to really show their deepest and powerful desire. So one time a friend of mine told me, Sai Tzu, maybe you know him, he gave me this beautiful mantra that I teach all my students: fuck with your heart and make love, and love with your genitals. You know, we normally fuck with the genital and then we have the romance of the heart. No. In real life, learn to fuck with your heart, because life will come at you intensely, and fuck with your heart. Take it on. Take life on. Take your lover on. Don't be afraid to crack your heart open. Here is where it really happens. Sex begins in the heart. Here is where the erotic dynamic are really happening. The genital are just mere tools to express the heart. And so you must know this, you know, for the man, the lingam is the visible expression to the heart. So men can use their cock to really fuck life physically in the world of form. And women get fucked internally, you know, so their organ is internal and they can receive the ravishing of life all the way into the heart. Men resort from the heart when they meet the depth of their heart, hence ejaculating. It's like penetrating themselves backward and ejaculate into their own heart. Now, when they culture their heart, the man, now they can use their cock, their lingam, to express the deep intensity, romance, and desire to love and penetrate reality. It all happen in the heart. And the lingam is just an instrument to express that in the world. And for women, is the opposite, is the ability to take in the heart the whole of humanity. We say that the woman is the body of love. We say that the feminine is the body of the planet. And the planet loves the whole of humanity. The planets include animal, plant, flower, tree, children, elder, perpetrator, victim, everything, it's included in the dance of life. And so from the tantric perspective, the feminine body, the challenge is to be able to keep relaxing into herself and keep expanding so she can contain the whole of life inside her body. Through sex, in being penetrated, we practice as women to open and let go of all the resistance between being this woman and being the body of the planet, and just let it all happen. And so welcoming in my heart and realizing I'm being fucked all the way into my heart. And so many women still have many resistance at many levels in their body, from the yoni to the heart. Sure. But the final portal is to let a man, which carries the whole dance of life, into the depth of her heart.
Beautiful.
That's how he ravishes her. Like he eating ripe fruit, like he's surfing the waves, like he's running on the mountain, with that commitment to give all of himself to her, head first. I also like this idea that also we have on the tip of the penis, there is the gland, and the gland is in the shape of a heart. You know, there is a piece, there is got those two, you know, you look at it. It's a man's heart. It shows on the tip of his cock, and he's tender. The gland is so delicate, no? It's designed to be touched really gently and delicately, because that's the skin of a man's heart. And so when a man penetrates a woman with this awareness that he's giving her his heart, and therefore it's delicate and it's tender and he wants depth, then his movement doesn't matter what do they look like. They really carry his true, honest commitment to fuck with his heart. And the heart comes before the head. The cock, the heart, the head. I love that. It's an opportunity that men have to operate with the intelligence of with the head of the cock. We say that the gland is called the head, no? So that's the true intelligence. That's the mind of the lingam. Its pure intelligence is on the top of the cock. That's the head of the lingam. And that's, we penetrate head first, is the first dissolution that is going to happen when the penis enters the body of woman. The first thing that needs to blast is the mind, his own head. And then the man can go into the unknown. So for a man to really ravish a woman, to really fuck her into her depth, he must let go of all his story, all his shame, its religious education, and this idea that he's humiliating her, because many men grow up also with the idea that the cock is toxic, that their sexuality it's toxic, that there is a problem with the amount of desire that a man have for a woman. This is all lies, is not true. It's badly perceived, So these are story of our society, to also keep the passionate lovers at bay. And there is this belief, is a religious belief, that the penis is contaminated and is toxic. And so if I really fuck a woman hard, I dishonor her. There is this idea that she get dishonored by a man who love to her.
Yeah, that's what many men are scared to do it, like they're scared to.
They're scared to dishonor, and they're scared to be violent, and they're scared to be too much. And instead, that's everything a woman wants. That's and if it's everything we want, actually.
Yeah, exactly. If it's done in the way that you explained it, that's exactly what the woman wants, and that's what the car. Wow, no, that's so beautifully. I'm so glad I asked you this question about ravishing of a woman and ravishing, each other. It's wonderful articulated, Valentina. It's amazing.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time thinking about this stuff. This is my question. And when I work with men, I see this in men. I see that I want to feel deeply desired by them. I want to feel that they wouldn't want to be anywhere else but deep inside of me. And they hold themselves back from showing me the depth of their desire. I can feel they're holding back. And so when I work with them, not as intimate lover, but as student and practitioner, this is the place I always invite them to go. They need to go into the beast. They think they have a beast, but this beast could be their greatest ally. What your sexual beast is really telling you, draw from the wisdom of the beast. Is not your enemy. It's also another part of you, the animalistic body. And if they will be willing to ask the deepest question, they might get some deep wisdom from their profound desire to enter the body of a woman. I feel is the ultimate devotion. The design of God is so perfect. The man can't resist women. The man have an erection in the presence of a woman. I often said, women get all offended is the man just get hard when they walk into the room. Is like, oh my God, he's such a pervert. He all think about is having sex, and they put men down. When in reality, when a woman is really awakening her sexuality, the question, the dynamic will be the opposite. I always make a joke. It's like, what do you mean? You're not having an erection in my presence? What the fuck? Haven't you noticed me? Have I not entered the room? You should all have an erection. Then I feel seen, I feel received, I feel that your body responded to the purity of my desire to be seen. You know, because this is form wanting to be penetrated by consciousness. This is the design of life. And as men and women, we represent the body of the planet wanting to be penetrated by consciousness. And so that's what the men are in the offering. The difference is that when we were educated that when a man has an erection and a woman generated this erection, the woman needs to take care of it, needs to find resolution, and needs to finish the job. That's I was told.
Yeah, it's also like a conditioning in that space. No, God, Valentina, so beautiful. Yeah, I tell the guys, please, whatever you do, don't stop your erection. You're walking and there's gorgeous women and you have this erection. Whatever you do, don't stop it, because if you block it, you're going to block it for fucking ever, or you're going to stop blocking it forever. You start blocking your sexual energy. Have that erection. That's beautiful. And in a awakened and conscious woman would look at it like, wow, like you find this a compliment.
And that erection, it's an offering. Nothing needs to be done about it. Here, beloved woman, I've got this erection. It could be an offering. If you wish to take it, I offer this. But nothing needs to be done. It doesn't again needs to be finished off, with an ejaculation, because the erection is the problem. There is no problem.
Sure, you can just be with your erection in the room. And what is more wonderful, standing in the room with a lot of beautiful women and having this erection, and just be with your erection, isn't it? That's wonderful. You don't have to do anything.
And then becomes an offering not only to the women, then an offering to life. Then becomes a spiritual practice of being absolutely present in this moment, that I cannot hide myself. There are no hiding places, that even my body becomes hard, is full of God right now, responding to this moment. That's what the erection also is. It's spectacular, that the man is so fulfilled by himself that becomes so visible. There's no hiding place. That's ultimate gift to God. I am here. God, source, divine, existence, whatever you want to call it. It's a real cool presence.
Yeah, that is so amazing. This is so inspirational, and I'm so passionate about this, because it starts with ejaculation choice, but look where the journey can go.
Yes.
The guys come and say, okay, I want to learn. Oh, okay. I've got maybe premature ejaculation, or maybe I don't even have that, but I want to last longer in bed. I want to be a better lover. And all of that is beautiful, a beautiful starting point. But look where this journey can go. Isn't that amazing discussion we're having now, and that you're so beautifully articulating?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you for inspiring this conversation.
Thank you for being so beautifully articulating it so well and being open for it. Is there anything else you want to add? Anything else? Is there anything else coming up?
What I want to say, that I'm giving you all my blessing, not that you need them, but when I see you doing this work, and I know, it's not that I hope, I know it's your journey, Lenerd. It's your you're entering the mystery of masculinity on a very deep level, and so you're sharing. It's essential, like I do. I teach what I do so that I can learn. Really, my students serve me. Without them, I wouldn't go deeper into the work, and so it's it looked like I'm serving them, but actually. And so I see you, the devotion that happens in your being, to be so devoted to this masculine current, and to understand your physical body, and you going in the mystery, in the deepest mystery. So that is such a gift. When you really flower into yourself, then it doesn't really matter what you do. You just brings gift to this world. and I see this happening, and I feel this expansion. It's a pleasure to know you and to have you in my life.
Oh, thanks, love. And we teach what we want to learn or need to learn most. And
Yeah.
oh,
So
no. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You'll make a difference for so many men. It's gonna be a ripple, and we, that's how we help each other, you know, and that will impact the women in their life, and so we dance together. So I feel privileged that I had this opportunity to also share from my deeper intimacy from my bed.
Thank you so much, Valentina. Thank you for being in your bed doing this interview. That's beautiful. This chat, that is so beautiful. And you look gorgeous, and you look wonderful. I'm so happy to have you in my life, and love you madly.
Thank you.